It's done. And I walked over to Frank on my knees and I went, Frank, psst, if you could come over to the table and just say hi to me and the girl, it would help me. He said, you got it, kid. And he walked over to the table, make a long story short, and the violins are playing and they're serving drinks. And he leans over and says, hi, Don. I go, Frank, not now. Can't you see I'm with people? I'm talking to the girl. How do I know if your album's going to sell? Get out of my life. And the girl dropped the drink and just went, oh, my God. And he had me thrown out. True story.
Is only just beginning to dislike me intensely, which means that the best is yet to come. We give him a chance to get warmed up and then really pull the sword out tomorrow night. In the meantime, we want to remind you he's at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas between June 6th and June 10th. And until tomorrow, we'll see you later. Thanks for staying up later. We're back with Don Rickles. We talked about some of the appearances on the Carson Show and his nightclub act the last time. Did you ever feel as if, just by the law of averages, doing hundreds of shows, you went over the line accidentally and then you regret it?
I don't think I regret it. One time I said, gee, I really dug into that person in my beginnings. I think as years went on and I found success, that I never thought about it twice. I mean, I always said, I'm right. If they can't handle that, they got a problem. But in my beginnings, I would say, yes, I dug in a little deep, but that's what made people look up, because if you come out like a monk and sing a choir song, nobody's going to care, you know.
What's your first name, Muhammad? What's your first name? Habib. How the hell did you get in the front? Look at the way they put him. He could pick me off in 5 minutes. Right in the front. I got a fakakta Arab over here, a boozed up gypsy broad over there, 3 kids in heat over here, a German pain in the ass over here, 2 Japs that passed away, trick-or-treat Harvey with the turtleneck sweater, Ma Frickett sitting over there waiting for the Pillsbury Bake-Off, the Spanish guy planning to attack the Mexican, and 2 Polacks on the end waiting for their truck to be fixed.
I always had to pick on people and make it work for me, and that doesn't help all the time, because when I did, interesting enough, Bob, when I did television, I had 3 television series. Carson, all of them loved to say, what's your next bomb coming up? Had CPO Sharkey, the Don Rickles Show on ABC, CBS The Don Rickles Show, and then I had Follow-Up Spoops and Blunders with Steve Lawrence, which was a mistake from the beginning. Not Steve, he was great, but every show, overnight, Chicago, New York, Detroit, biggest thing, forget about it. You had to run alongside of my limo, knocking on the window, you know, Don, say hello. And then when we got to Des Moines, and we started to hit Elko, Nevada, the 3 guys went, Mary, shut it off, that loud guy's on, you know. So those were tough places for me to get. But overnights in the major cities, I was always successful.
See, but I would also think with those TV shows, even though they tried to open them up and let you be yourself, it misses the electricity and the danger of a live television shot. That's where you were at your best. What's going to happen when he comes out on the Tonight Show? Is it going to work? Is he going to get on a roll? What might he say? For better or worse, it's live. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah, yeah. It's very true. That excitement, but how do you create that? See, guys would say in shows that I was on, when I had my own show, they'd say, hey, let Don do a rampage. Let him just say anything to fill in here. And if you can't really do that, then you become the guy I do on the nightclub stage, and you wanted to make it a character. So we were confused sometimes between the character and Don Rickles, you know. So it was hard to blend sometimes.
You know what you look like, Robinson? A man on welfare who's just been told he has 3 ex-wives to support, all ugly.
Hey man, you gotta be kidding about this. I mean, you're gonna throw away 24 years, give up a career just because your new CO is a woman?
You got it.
Hey man, what is the matter with you? There are women in the service all over the world. Well, I just read the other day that in China, they got a woman who's captain of a ship.
In China, they can get away with it. They all wear pajamas, and they all look alike.
You really gonna send this in to the CO, huh?
No, I'm gonna send it to Deer Abbey and sign it puzzled in San Diego.
Do you have any kind of regret at all? I mean, not that you trade it on balance, but any kind of regret that your tremendous success and visibility as a comic pretty much eliminated any chance to be an actor in most roles, because people would say, wait a minute, that's Don Rickles.
Well, that's the price you have to pay when you get, pardon me, when you get that kind of identification. You know, I was always, as you know, the insult guy, Mr. Warmth, you know, the Sultan of whatever, and and all these titles they gave me, and it was tough to overcome. Producers would back off a little bit because you get this image. But as I say, you can't have it all. I still feel before the big guy in the sky takes the hook for me, I would love to do something, which is a little bit away from character, and hopefully that will happen. But I've had my chances. I've done a few films that Rat Race I played a heavy in that, and that was a picture with Debbie Reynolds and Tony Curtis a lot of years ago. But as I got more and more popular with this kind of image, it was tough. Yet you take a young, brilliant guy, like a young man like a Billy Crystal, who's become a big star in motion pictures. That's great because he's always been funny, but he's never had that image of, like you said, the guy that was rapping on people. And so when you have a tough image, it's hard for people to shake that thought of you.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of Billy's success as a comic is in getting into characters.
Yes.
Rather than
being
creating
in
a specific Billy Crystal persona.
Absolutely, and he's wonderful, he really is.
Another film you were in was Run Silent, Run Deep with Burt Lancaster and Clark Gable.
Yeah, I carried them. Yeah, I'll never forget the first time. I was the first picture. I never was on a movie set. It was at Goldwyn, right out here, and I had to read for this thing, and I had one of those work lights on the stage, and I came to the studio and with this. I was with Henry Slate and a few other people, and we walked in, and he said, "Mr. Rickles, you're going to read for this part." And I said, and it was pitch dark, and I was just standing with a light, and Robert Wise was the director, and I said, "Well, will Clark Gable or Burt Lancaster?" No. There'll be a voice off stage. They'll just read the lines for you, and you just read it, and you'll hear them answer the lines, and you do it. And I stood out there, and I said, whatever the lines were, I said, well, the ship is sinking, sir. Will the men be all okay? Well, should we fire the torpedo? And a voice off camera went, "Take it down 100 feet. Dive, don't worry." And I went, and I started to spit up on myself. And Clark Gable said, do you have a problem, young man? And I went to pieces. But fortunately, I got the part.
Were you entertaining on the set with guys like Gable and Lancaster, or were you too intimidated?
No, I wasn't. I was at the beginning. But there was a guy called Jack Warden, who's a marvelous actor. Great sense of humor. Jack haven't seen him in years, but he was a funny guy. And we did a lot of crazy things, and Gable used to love it, We once got completely undressed, Jack Warden and I, and we embraced each other and sneaked into Gable's, I've never told this, and sneaked into Gable's trailer. And Clark Gable was a very humble guy. He really, very quiet, had a little scotch and went, Teddy, buddy, and Burt Lancaster used to sit around going, "Clark, we're gonna do another scene in a couple of minutes." He said, "Fine." And Burt was still doing circus tricks, but whatever that means. And so we both got undressed and we were in the thing, and Gable walked in and saw us both on the bed and went, "Oh my God, they're out of control. I think they're fags. I don't know what they are. Wow. Damn, I don't know what's happening here. Wow. Down." And he went nuts. And Jack Warden went, "Hey, sweetheart, we're just having a good time. What are you worried about?" Yeah, we did crazy things like that.
Kind of an enlightening tale behind the scenes of an epic motion picture.
Yes.
Speaking of epic motion pictures, you will be surprised and perhaps flattered to know that long before I ever knew that I'd be sitting here with you, I had seen Man with the X-Ray Eyes. Ooh. The Roger Corman film with you as the carnival barker and Ray Milland as a guy who people thought he was a circus act, but he actually could see through stuff.
That's right. And he had his eyes fixed. They had to, put things in his eyes and make it like giant eyes. And he got an infection. The guy almost died doing his part. And in those days, we did a movie in 15 days. You just came in, there was no rehearsal, nothing. They said, "Roll him," and you went, "What's my first line?" "Good evening." "Oh, good evening!" And you did it, and you boom, 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 and it went like crazy. But it was a great experience. And that picture, surprisingly enough, in those days when you did those quickies, those little thrillers, they made money. And I played a real heavy in that. And Ray Milland was a great guy. All those guys, it's interesting. Gable, Burt Lancaster, who is, if he's watching, he hasn't been too well, but I wish him the best. Burt Lancaster, Clark Gable, and you go back, Tony Quinn, all those guys, they really, wonderful actors, Gary.